Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of James's 10-Minute Country, in which this 47-year-old middle-aged man explores his long and sometimes tortuous journey to becoming a Dan and Shay fangirl, which was an unexpected turn of events that occurred to me earlier this year. I finally bought into the Dan and Shay thing, with the third self-titled album that they released this year after a good, must be 3 years of solid resistance, really. I couldn't understand the sort of catnip effect that they were having on the country music world, and, there was a lot of suspicion on my part that they were actually just a boy band masquerading as a country music Rascal Flatts type influenced duo, but I've finally seen the light, and I thought everybody might like to see what my journey was like. It sort of mirrors American DJ Bobby Bones' journey. He once famously referred to Dan and Shay as the country music Savage Garden, which was a jibe based around comparisons with the Australian 90s pop duo, who sang such sugary sweet, polished pop songs like Truly Madly Deeply and To the Moon and Back. But his conversion into the cult of Dan and Shay was confirmed just a couple of weeks ago when the guys were invited into the studio for a 4-day residency in the lead up to the album release, and it was well and truly won over. My conversion feels odd. I'm 47, I'm a man, which doesn't necessarily fit with the Dan and Shay demographic. I've got 2 teenage kids. I like Dirks, Eric Church, Brad Paisley. They're nearer my age. They have a wide range of song themes. For me, erroneously, it turns out, I always thought Dan and Shay were just like, snowflake millennials. Their songs are essentially about the start of relationships, about those wide sweeping statements of love that you tend to make in your 20s at the sort of embryonic start of a relationship. They're about honeymoons, they're about summers of love, about building something from the ground up. At my age and my phase in life, my existence is essentially a daily grind of jobs and the handling of vampiric kids who suck the life out of you, leaving you with nothing to look forward to but bedtime, really. So it's sort of at odds with Dan and Shay's outlook on life and their age and their experience. I've been there, I've said and done some of those things, obviously not in such a beautifully harmonious way. So I resisted. I listened to the debut album sneeringly through middle-aged eyes, and I dismissed it as boy band stuff. 19 You and Me sounded like Take That to me. Stop, Drop and Roll, pop music. What You Do to Me, sort of first date One Direction nonsense. Something changed slightly, just a smidge, when they released Obsessed, though. I didn't like the title straight away. It felt like a nod to their legion of screaming fangirls. But the song From the Ground Up grabbed me. Yes, you still have to wade through sort of a Tate and Lyle-sized mountain of sugar to get to the core of the song. But what was there, in that core, I thought was a superb ballad, full of meaning and intent. So I listened to the rest of Obsessed, begrudgingly, it has to be said, and I heard a few other things that I liked. Lipstick has a believable narrative. All Nighter started to show me that I could believe the boys were capable of doing an up-tempo song instead of the sort of wash of ballads that I perceived that they did. How Not To had a sort of Rascal Flatts style quality to it and an annoyingly catchy chorus. However, that old heavy metal fan in me started whispering dark thoughts into my brain like, what would your mates from the 80s say if they could see you listening to this now? So I shut the silliness down right away. Although I did secretly still listen to From the Ground Up every now and again when he was asleep or preoccupied with thinking about old Whitesnake videos. On that phase, some UK shows came and went, and I impassively ignored them. Despite the fact that social media was full of platitudes and full of admiration for their vocal histrionics and warm stage personas. But it was when they released Tequila that I really, really started to think that I could be onto something here. And the dam burst and my conversion into full-fledged fangirl really happened. Tequila is an amazing song. It's a little more grown-up than many of their earlier songs. It's not so age-stamped. The guy reminiscing in the song could be my age. Bless him. He could be 25. You just don't know, and that's the beauty of the song. Great songwriters are able to add an ambiguity to their lyrics that leave the listener able to find relevance in their own experiences. It's a kind of everyman quality. Dirks has it, Christian Bush has it, and I'm proud to announce that Dan and Shay have finally found it. Other songs on the album are just as good as Tequila. Alone Together, that's a fine drum-driven up-tempo song. I wish they did more of those. Stupid Love, that's light, it's fun, and more importantly, it's not age-defined either. My Side of the Fence is a sweet, tender ballad that for once isn't dripping in the type of production slush that some of their earlier songs are covered in. But it's keeping score that's the highlight of the album for me, and the real stepping stone to the future for them. A huge radio-friendly duet with Kelly Clarkson that brings Dan and Shay into my grown-up, post-millennial world. It reminds me of Jason Aldean and Carrie Underwood's Don't You Want to Stay? Or even Carrie and Brad's Remind Me. It's a proper, grown-up duet that examines the male-female dynamic, and I really do hope they release that as a single. I'm still not 100% committed to every Dan and Shay song, but I'm a long, long way down the path, further down the path than I used to be. There are some songs still, like No Such Thing, that's way, way, way out of my wheelhouse with its club setting and R&B rhythms. And the recent release of the club mix of Tequila nearly caused me to have a full-blown coronary, if I'm being honest. I get that they're a different age to me, and I get that their influences are different to mine, and I get that they've got to target the charts and the people who supposedly buy records, although I suspect the older fans like me were going to buy more things than the younger fans, but I get that they've got to do that. So I listened to the club remix of Tequila once, and I've scrubbed my ears with sandpaper, and I've had 6 or 7 sessions of therapy so far in an effort to try and get me to forget what I heard. But on the whole, I'm there. I've bought into the cult. I'm with Bobby now on this one. I understand what genius songwriters they are. I understand how the hell they can sing the song out of any words on paper. I could give them my shopping list, and I'm sure they would turn it into something amazing. I think I recently saw them sing a sneeze, which sort of broke the internet for a while. So I'm there. I've bought my ticket for the January UK tour, and I shall be as excited as anyone there to see the guys do their stuff from stage. I tried to resist. I tried to see them as nothing but sugary boy band material. But as they've got older, and as they've grown, and as their songwriting has developed, they've hooked me in as well. And I don't think that I'm be the last person to say this or echo those sentiments. So, well done, Dan and Shay. Congrats on a conversion. You've made this cynical middle-aged man sing like a millennial. So looking forward to seeing you in the UK in January, and I shall be there at the Birmingham show on the front row, surrounded by all the other 23-year-old girls, which that's not necessarily a bad thing. All right then, thanks for listening, guys. That was episode 2, and if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get a notification when the next episode goes up. All right, thanks ever so much. Have a great day, guys.